let's talk about the Belgian Grand Prix. Formula One is back after 3 weeks off. Obviously Silverstone was a great one, but now we are on to Belgium. And Spa obviously is always a track that can be very surprising. It's a very iconic track. It should stay in the calendar every year, in my opinion, but according to the bosses of Formula One, they think otherwise. But yeah, it's a great track, and it's because of high-speed corners. Yeah, the track can be quite long because if you do over a lap, it's like 1 minute and 40 plus seconds. But it's a great track, very good track. It has the iconic corners as well, high-speed corners. It's a great track. It's a great track, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's also a sprint weekend, so that makes it more exciting. And not only that, it's always raining, and it looks like it's not gonna change that as well this weekend, because there's 60% chance of raining on Friday, practice and sprint qualifying, 55% chance of rain in Saturday, sprint and original qualifying, and 50% chance of rain Sunday for the original race. But this is Spa. What do you expect? It's always raining. 2021, for example, last year in qualifying, I think the year before, 2 years in the sprint, I think 2 years ago. So yeah, this is Spa, my friends. But yeah, what do I think? What do I think about who's going to win and who's going to listen? It's gonna rain. It's gonna rain, and if you look at all the 3 wet races, Lando Norris has won all of them, and McLaren have won all of them. So I think McLaren should, even if in the wet races, it should not weaken them, because they're good and they've been better in strategies this season, and also like they got a 1-2 in Silverstone, got a 1-2 in Miami Sprint. Should have got a 1-2 in Australia, but they won in that race as well. So yeah, listen, if whatever it's in any track, if it's raining, it should not weaken McLaren. However, this is a track I think that might struggle McLaren if it's dry. I think they might struggle, because I don't think this is a track that suits them, the strengths mostly, the car mostly. Like if you look in Saudi Arabia, they won that race, okay, but you could also say Oscar got a bit lucky with the penalty for Verstappen. It didn't suit McLaren that easily in that track in Saudi. You look at Imola, it didn't suit them that perfectly. Who else? You could say Ferrari were the quickest in Monaco. So I think, I'm not saying McLaren struggles a bit too much, but I think they might not win. I think they might not win this weekend, because I don't think it's a track that suits them perfectly, and it's a sprint weekend, so it can surprise people. People can overthink and change decisions and change the strategies, the tactics, and to put the tires or whatever. So what tires, etc. So yeah, and it most likely it could rain in all those 5 sessions. So it's going to be very, very tricky for all the drivers to get prepared for the track, and it's only a sprint weekend, so it's only 1 practice session, so it's not easy. It's not going to be easy at all for all the teams. So yeah, I think McLaren, I think they might not win, because I don't think it's a track that suits them perfectly, in my opinion, their car. And particularly one of the drivers, Lando Norris, who's won obviously the last 2 races, 3 of the last 5 races. He's in a very good form. He's getting his momentum back. It looks like, he's showing what he can actually do in a good way. He won Silverstone. Yeah, you could say he got a bit lucky with the penalty of Piastri, but he didn't do mistakes, did he? He was fantastic in Austria, deserved the win. Fantastic in Monaco, deserved the win. And he's been looking very, very good in the last five races, except Canada, where he had that crash, obviously. So yeah, but I think it's a track that he might struggle as well. He's won all the wet races. Won all the wet races this season, but despite that, I think it's a track that he might struggle as well. Just because if you look at his record in Spa, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's not. It's a track that doesn't suit him perfectly. Listen, I know he said he wants to win in Spa because his mother is from Belgium. Lando Norris himself is half Belgian, but if you look at his record in Spa, it's very poor, very poor. He never had a podium. He's very poor. He never even finished in the top four. So he's not had a he's not he does it's not his strongest track. Yeah, it's high speed corners, and let's say it suits more Oscar Piastri than Lando. But it's going to be a wet race, so it can help Lando because he's been better in wet races this season. But if you look at his record on the track and this track, is very poor. So he's going to have to try to find a way to get the number of points. Win. Get the best points as much as he can. Not be far away from Oscar in terms of the championship. Because in Hungary, I think it should suit McLaren easily. But in Belgium, I don't think this is a Lando Norris track, so I think he might struggle. Maximize the points. Maximize as much as you can. Which Verstappen did, for example, last season, where he was let's say kind of up against it in the second half of the season, and in Singapore he's always very poor in Singapore, but he maximized the points. He finished second. He didn't finish 6th or 7th because he usually finishes struggles in Singapore, but at least finished second to not lose too many points to his direct rival for the title. I think that's what Lando Norris should try to do this weekend, because let's be honest, it's a track that he usually struggles. However, it's a track I think Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen would like to drive in. Verstappen is always strong in Spa, so I expect him to be up there. It's high-speed corner, so it should suit the characteristics of the Red Bull car. And over a one lap, Red Bull are usually very strong. Mostly strong. And it's high-speed corners, and it's a kind of a Max Verstappen track. It's a track that it suits his driving style perfectly. It's high-speed corners, so I expect it to be up there. So I expect Oscar Piastri as well to be up there. He's done really well in Spa in the past, finishing second last season. There he finished second in the sprint 2 seasons ago, and it's high-speed corners. And I think it's he said it's his favorite track as well. Surprised for him to say that, because I expect him to say Australia is his favorite track because it's home race. But anyway, but I expect him to be up there. And listen, people say, oh, he's won one in the last 6 races. Oscar Piastri is not in the best form. No, if you are saying that because he's only won one in the last 6 races, then you're not watching by your eyes. Because in those 6 races, he was a bit lucky in him. He made that mistake. Yeah, you could say Verstappen absolutely slapped him in the face with that great overtake that Verstappen made. But it was a bit unlucky with the strategy and the safety car. Monaco, yeah, it wasn't his best, okay, but he still got a podium. Spain, he was amazing, deserved that win. In Canada, he didn't have a good performance, but at least he was better. He did better than his teammate. And in Austria, he was very good. He was also very good. He was the fastest, arguably, but Lando won by the minds. He won in terms of the strategy, in terms of experience. Same thing in Silverstone, Oscar made mistakes also in Austria. By locking up in the turn 4, and also Silverstone, he was arguably the fastest. He was 10 seconds ahead of Verstappen and Norris, even though you could say Norris was managing his tires. But Oscar Piastri again made mistakes in the rain. So Verstappen, so not Oscar should still be strong and should still have a good chance of winning this race and the sprint as well. But at the same time, he has to limit the number of mistakes, because especially it could be raining. And in the rain, Oscar Piastri is also very fast, but he can make mistakes. Australia, he could have won that race, but he made mistakes. Silverstone, same thing. Miami, where you could say Miami sprint, where he should have won, but Lando was closing on him. So I think Oscar, it's a track that should suit him, but it's gonna rain, so he's gonna have to not only win by pace, but also by the mind, by the strategy, by managing your tires carefully, which Lando did in Silverstone. Lando was not the fastest, but he managed his tires carefully, and he won by the minds. He won by experience. So that's what I think Oscar should try to learn. Try to not only win by pure pace, but win by managing your tires. So yeah, let's see. But I expect them to be up there. Ferrari, I expect them to be strong as well. Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton, it's the last race he won was in Spa last season. So I expect Ferrari are slightly improving, not much, but they're slightly improving, and they're going to bring new upgrades with the new suspension. So I expect them to be competing up there for this race. And Belgium is a track that usually can suit Ferrari well. So I expect them to be up there as well for the win. Mercedes, I don't know, to be honest with you. They've had a poor run of form from Imola until Silverstone, poor run of form except Canada when they won, and they were brilliant in that race. But except Canada has been a poor run of form. And this ground effect era certainly is the worst nightmare of Mercedes, honestly. They should thank God that next season that there will be no ground effect in the 2026 cars, because this ground effect era of Mercedes has been an absolute nightmare for sure for them. So but listen, if it's like last season's race where it's the temperatures are cold and it's dry, then they might have a chance to win, like they did last season where they won, and you could say they got a 1-2. If you don't want to include the George Russell disqualification, but I included because if you break the rules, you get punished. So, but let's see. I don't expect something special from Mercedes this weekend, but let's see. In terms of the other midfield teams, Williams, I expect them to bounce back. They've had a poor run of form, but I expect them to bounce back. I think it's a track that should suit them perfectly. Kick Sauber, they've been in absolute amazing form from Spain since they brought that upgrades from Spain to Silverstone. They've been in amazing form. Obviously, Hulkenberg getting that finally that podium in Silverstone. So can it be back-to-back podiums for Hulkenberg, because it's going to rain again? So can it be another podium for Hulkenberg? But Sauber, they've been in amazing form. They've been very good, and I think they'll be looking to continue that form also in Spa. But it's not going to be easy also because it's going to rain, etc. So yeah, but let's see. But they've been a very good run of form. Williams, like I said, I expect them to bounce back. Vicar, I don't know. Let's see. Aston Martin, they're slightly improving a little bit in the last couple of races. Haas, not in the best form. Alpine, yeah, to be honest with you, we should call them Pierre Gasly Racing Team, because Pierre Gasly is saving their ass, if we are being very honest. Like, where's Pierre Gasly in the table? He's 13th, but he's picked up 19 points. And the only 19 points that Alpine picked was from Gasly only. They're like Red Bull with Verstappen. Red Bull are Verstappen team. Alpine are a Gasly team, let's be honest. But yeah, let's see. I don't expect anything special from Alpine. I don't expect anything special from Haas. But I expect Williams to be too strong to bounce back. Kick Sauber, they could be up there as well in terms of the best midfield teams. Aston Martin, maybe VCAP as well. So yeah, my prediction, ladies and gentlemen. Sprint pole, I'm going for Charles Leclerc. Top 3 sprint results, I'm going for first position Charles Leclerc, second position Lewis Hamilton, and third position Oscar Piastri. And the original qualifying pole, I'm going for Max Verstappen. And in the race, first position Max Verstappen, second position Charles Leclerc, and third position Oscar Piastri. That's my predictions. So Max Verstappen to win the race and Charles Leclerc to win the sprint. So guys, I expect Lewis Hamilton to do well in the sprint, because in all the sprints he's been amazing. He's been very good this season, but in the race he's been very not great as well. So yeah, but yeah, that's it guys. Thank you. I wish you have a nice day. See you next time, and have a nice day. Goodbye.